Right, moving on round the side. I mean, this is some of the funkiest stuff that you're kind of known for as well, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're kind of the only guys doing this.
Well,
Would that be so?
yes,
One of them.
I was the first brand to do this style of
Yes.
longboard, wave longboard. And why I did that is because I wanted to spend time on the water when it was the best wave there, side offshore wind, where virtually you cannot go on a short board. You know, even if you take 110-liter board, you just don't have the length enough to go upwind, to go to position yourself back on the wave.
Yeah.
And with this type of board, you have a lot of volume, but the board is very narrow for that side.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get a really long rail.
Like a mini mount. Sort of.
Yeah, it's like a minimal,
Yeah.
and the board is also. We also have this step tail in the tail.
Okay, so that effectively makes it shorter feeling.
Yeah, it is a lot shorter, and we did some. It's quite funny because we did some tests with and without the step tail.
Yeah.
Without the step tail, the board is not working.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's just dragging water. When we put a step tail, it's like putting the board back on its line. And while we have some teaser of the board, you will see it's. I mean, I'm on the board, but it's turning like a short board, and it's
maybe we
extremely
need to get
quick.
that video. We'll drop it in actually over this little talk now. But effectively, you've got two boards in one. You've got the sort of waterline board, which is the shorter board, and then the longer stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the benefit of having the top longer than the bottom?
Well, the top, having like the way I said, having the top board when you're on the plane doesn't touch the water.
Yeah.
But when you are not on the plane and when you want to get a bit powered up or you want to have control of the board, it keeps the board sitting flat, you know. Okay. So you go rail to rail. There's quite a bit of V on that board. And yeah, it's really. I can't really explain why it's so efficient, but it's just taking off on the wave super quick.
It'll probably be for people in certain locations around the world. You know, it's a specific board. You know, I guess light wind wave sailing. Not everyone's going to be there, but I bet the guys that have it love it. You know, is it that type of thing?
Yeah, and this board, when you start to take off on a wave, like if you are even for my size, I'm 100 kilo. I would take a 5.0 as a bigger sail.
Okay, really?
But I won't be able to move on a short board with a 5.0. So it's like it delivers a lot of power because a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And you feel like 5.0, you don't need much more than that.
See, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, for people, you know, float and ride, what you want to do, I bet some people don't get it, but when you've got the power of the wave, the apparent wind, you don't want a big sail in your hands. You want the smallest sail as possible, but you want enough power to be able to wave ride.
And
so
you don't want
need a good board.
And you don't want to have a too wide board because and a too thick board. So if you are looking to go wave sailing in super light wind, you would like to have at least 110 liter, even if you are light.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't go over the white water.
So what volume is this?
This one is 145.
145.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
we have.
But it's narrower than
But it's narrow,
okay.
you know, and the rail is extremely thin. So it's like a longboard. So it engages into
Can you suck?
No, it's a bit too narrow. The deck is a bit too domey.
Okay.
And we have it in two sizes. So we have a longer one than this one.
Yeah.
And we have 8.5. So 10.5, 9.5. That's a 9.5 here and the 8.5.
Okay.
So the 8.5, once you're on the plane, is fairly short. It's only 230 long. You know, that's a short board.
Yeah.
But you have the volume.
Sick. Oh, that's interesting, man. That's cool. Yeah. No, hopefully we'll drop some footage. If you send us some footage.
We have amazing footage from Tarifa from 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Drop that in.
Yeah.
Drop that in. And then I think. Oh no, we've got a board with a dagger board here. Hang on a minute. We'll let him just put that board in, but we're going to come on to the Windsurfer LT in a minute. This is the original Windsurfer. And again, I've just been talking to Patrice before we came on. It's interesting. I didn't realise it was how it works, but we'll see. More on the details. And what we got this one? Windsup?
Yeah, Windsurf. So this board has also the step tail in the back. That's why you see the foot strap so far forward.
Yeah, because otherwise it looks weird.
Yeah, it looks weird. Why you put the foot strap over there, you know? So, no, but there is a big step tail, and if you compare this board, it's pretty much the same length like the LT. Compared to the LT, this board has also a design that you can do SUP very easy because the deck is a little bit with a concave.
Okay.
Once on the plane, this board is fully planing, so it has a fairly big fin 46. And 10 years ago, I've been selling that board here, and with top speed over 35 knots.
Okay.
So it's
Blimmin'
super
heck.
quick. Yeah, super.
Top speed what?
35 knots. I went on that board.
35 knots?
Yeah.
I was struggling to do that on my speedboard the other day.
So, but you know, on those boards you can put the mast foot very far forward, and that's a little bit the secret of longboards.
Yeah.
You don't sail with a mast foot in the back. Even with this one,
Yeah.
I'm sailing with a mast foot almost 15 cm more forward,
Really?
and it feels natural.
Okay.
You know, just because of the length of the board and what it wants to do.
Okay.
So, but this board is really dedicated for people who want to learn windsurf or have a good feeling. It's super light wind. You can also, as a trainer, put a kid over there with 1.5.
Ah, look at that. There's a little mast base at the top. That's pretty cool.
So
I like that. Because that is pretty cool. So it's like a tandem for miniature people.
It's a tandem.
Yes, we like that. We like that. That's cool.
And then the two
But has this got roots in the Kona? Is there any?
It's absolutely in the same in the same route of the Kona.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. I've not seen that before. That's interesting. And then moving on. Now, anyone who started windsurfing in the late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a little bit the secret of this board that I like PW to look at it and why is it so successful, you know, because there is something there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So we all say, well, windsurfing is going down. Since this board came, it's only going up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is the original, windsurfer, brought back, updated, a few modernizing bits to it, but essentially, it's the same concept.
Yeah, exactly. And who is behind is Bruce Wiley and Ricardo.
Yeah.
And they've been doing a really great job. So the board has more volume than the original windsurfer.
Yeah.
It has about the same length, or maybe 10 cm longer. It's a bit wider, but it's
a bit more easier going than the
it's
first
a lot
one.
easier, and the construction before was polyethylene. It was just a nightmare. It was like a plank, you know.
Yeah.
So you almost had to put the board with weight in between to get a bit of curve on the board.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have heard this. If you haven't heard these stories, these boys were changing the rocker on those boards on hot days, whatever,
exactly.
bending
between
them.
two rocks, and you put some sandbag on it, and
I mean, that's so.
it worked.
But
the dagger board was a piece of wood, so it was the same for the mast base.
Yeah.
And you have a full-on proper dagger board, and it's a different board, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's really fun. And part of the success of that class is that you race per weight class.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of weight
So a
classes.
big guy like me don't have to go with you because you will kick my ass
in the light winds.
Bah,
Yeah, it's obvious. Exactly.
I cannot do anything, you know. Even if I'm with the same skill level, it's impossible. So we all go where we belong.
Yeah, I like that. But I grew up with that sort of system, longboard racing. And I've said to the guys who do the Prince of Speed, how have you not got weight classes? Because I can't relate to you. You're doing 35 knots on this board, but I want to know who the fastest guy in the world is at 80 kilos. So I can look at them and go, what are they doing? If I look at you, you're a beast. I can't compare myself. So I think that's super interesting.
And for me, it's a bit the key, and even for the kids. A kid will be able to race even if he's 15 and like 60 kilo.
Yeah.
He will be in the race as a former world champion, and he can beat the guy,
Yeah.
And you don't see this in all discipline that we have.
Yeah.
You go to see foiling, they're all monsters now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 100 kilo, but those guys, they're 100
beasts.
plus,
Plus muscles on muscles.
Yeah, plus muscle on top of. They look like a Marvel series. Those guys,
It was true. It's so true, And when we started off, we hear these stories of Robin Ash winning his first world title at whatever. this is part of it, the weight categories and all that sort of stuff. I'm guessing.
But you also forget that before we were allowed to have weight jacket.
Yes.
So they were closing the gap with
What's
the
your
big
theory
guys.
on that?
With the weight jacket?
Yeah, now.
Well, I think you need weight class.
Yeah.
That's
I
very
agree.
simple.
Yeah, I agree.
So there is no way, especially in foiling or even in slalom, that the 80-kilo guy will go faster than a 100-kilo guy. That's impossible.
Yeah.
The only part where it's getting closer is that's a paradox in strong wind.
Yeah, really
It's because
strong,
it's here.
Yeah.
You go, you don't go.
It's
that's
true.
it.
It's true. There's a point it gets to where you think the big guys would be killing it, but actually the smaller guy comes back into the game.
Comes back because it's just a part of control, and the skill gets into the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of lighter sailors are more skilled than bigger guys.
Yeah.
But just don't have the mass, don't have the size, and so it's obvious. Big guys there, small guys there. At least 2-3 class would make a lot of sense.
So what's just to go back to the Windsurfer LT? What's your connection with that? Because obviously you've got an Exocet logo up there. How does that kind of work with you guys?
Well, when they launch it's a program, Bring Back Windsurfer LT. It belongs to the Triton family.
Yes.
And so Bruce, Cobra, and some other guys, licensee, they hold the license, and they said, okay, but we want to open to all the brands who want to participate in the program.
Okay.
And me, formerly, I've been doing Kona 1, so I had a lot of experience, and also I was driven to put back people on the water with a longboard. Because I always believe you get so much in light wind with a longboard that with a 1 meter school board where it's like a plank and you just don't move, You sit around and it's getting boring super quick.
You need length.
Yeah. So when I saw the concept coming, and they said, well, we want to open, you want to do it? I said yes straight away.
Yeah.
Because I like the concept, and the sail is easy. It's
we've got the sail as well, and it's basically bringing back that sailing aspect of windsurfing. It's accessible sailing, but still windsurfing at the same time. You can go out in light winds, you can have a race around. It brings that community back. You're all on the same gear.
Exactly, and you tell the people, but the sail is 5.7, it's too small. I said, just try the sail. No.
Some power, isn't it? It's got some
there
power.
is some power in that thing. No, it's like this sail you take a 8-0, like with full-on camber, but this one is killing it, for sure. And as enough range, you put the mast foot forward when it's getting windy, and it's just enough, And it's simple, it's light. The shape is a bit better than the former 5.7. Everything has been quite updated. But yes, it's super
simplistic.
Simple. It's just simple, No headache. So it's not changing. You sell your board in 2-3 years. It's the same board, it's one design.
And it makes big sense. I mean, I've said it a lot of times on the channel before. I feel the loss of sailing clubs to windsurfing. It was a big hit. Like when I grew up, I was part of a sailing club. And maybe in France it's different because you've still got sailing clubs, surf clubs, I guess, and stuff like this. But in England, I think we have drifted out of the sailing clubs. And I know I was speaking to the guys in Australia. These are going back into sailing clubs, which is then enticing people into windsurfing. And this can be like the gateway drug to get them into other windsurfing, classes.
Yeah, exactly. And part of it is also, like I said, again, every boat has they have either a rating, and even you go on some class where there is two sailors on one boat on the dinghy. You have a minimum and a maximum weight, So it's implemented. And this you have a weight class, so it fits right into the sailing club. How you call that? What they would like to see, And before, the only common thing between all the brands, you had Windsurfer, you had Dufour, you had Wind Glider, they all had the weight class. That was a common thing, and that was part of the success, We don't have this anymore. And the only reason why it's so popular, this board, is nowadays is because there is a weight group, simple, you go on the water.
And racing's racing. When you know everyone's on the same gear, There's obviously there are little differences in all sort of production stuff, but basically it's the same gear, and you've got to tune your own gear to get the best out of it. But you equally know that everyone else has got the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And they also, even with the weight groups, which is quite, I found it a little bit funny at the beginning, but if you have 200 competitor register, there will be all different weight.
Yeah.
But every class will have the same number of sailors. So there is a little bit of fluctuation on the heavy one and lighter one. And the two middle group are very close in weight.
Just explain it, because I heard this in Australia and it was new to me, because in the old days when I used to do it, it was like a cut-off before the event. But now the way they do it, they look at everyone who's entered,
yes,
and then they divide it depending on...
Exactly, like this you have 4 equal fleet in terms of number. It's very good.
Yeah.
Of course, the heavyweight, you can have a huge discrepancy between the heaviest and the lightest.
Yeah.
So, but very often, some events where some guys that were like 115 plus, and the lightest one in the heavyweight class would be like around 89, 87.
Okay.
The next race, maybe it was 86.
So the middle one is the very competitive.
So the two middle class are really competitive, and same for the girls too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Patrice, cheers. Always a
you.
pleasure. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, these sort of brand ones have been more like podcasts, and we're looking at the gear as well. So next up, obviously, we're going to have a word with Monty Spindler. So stay tuned. If you enjoyed that, we have got lots of episodes that you might have missed, and there's plenty more coming. Stay tuned to the channel.